Hi, I'm Dr. Joanna Dodd Massey, and I'm the author of Culture Shock: Surviving 5 Generations in One Workplace. Because for the first time ever, we have people as young as 18 and as old as 80 in the workforce, and it is causing a lot of miscommunications and misunderstandings. Now, usually when someone does a book reading, they have the physical book in front of them. I don't have a physical book with me. I also like to think of myself as a planet-friendly Gen Xer, so I will be reading the book electronically. Hopefully this goes well. Chapter 1, The Generational Divide. Millennials get a bad rap for being entitled. I've worked with innumerable millennials who are self-deprecating about the entitlement trait as they sheepishly but resolutely ask for more flexibility at work, time off, and/or more perks. Some of them recognize entitlement in their peers, but not in themselves. Still others live up to the entitlement label and embrace it fully. One employee once looked at me as I told her we were all going to have to work over the Christmas holiday, and she said, "But I need me time." Okay, here's the truth about that exchange. I agreed with her. We all need me time. The silent generation, baby boomers, and Gen X have collectively created a work environment where it is assumed that if you're going to move up the corporate ladder, you will ignore your health, skip the gym, eat greasy food at your desk, and work until you get an ulcer, all while missing your 5-year-old's dance recital and your teenager's soccer game. Date night with your significant other? A distant memory only to return when you are an empty nester, if you live that long. So when my employee said pleadingly that she needed me time, I had that familiar defense response that older workers get when faced with a younger employee saying they need and deserve more freedom. In that moment, the voice in my head said to me, "I've worked through every vacation I've ever taken for the past 25 years, and that was before the BlackBerry was invented." Fortunately, I have a pause button thanks to decades of psychology, training, and business. So what came out of my mouth was, "I understand, and we will get a lot more me time after the event is over, and a heck a lot more of it if it doesn't go well and the CEO fires us. So let's work out a compromise where you don't spend your whole vacation reacting whenever we call, but instead you put in an hour or two each morning and send us a daily update on your portion of the project. We will only email you if we have a question that needs to be answered immediately, and we can put urgent in the subject line in those cases." She agreed. As a member of Generation X, I know that I am not the only person who gets annoyed or defensive when a millennial employee tells me that they need more responsibility, autonomy, and freedom to come and go as they please. Colleagues have shared with me their frustration. Things like, "That's not fair. I put in my time, now they have to put in theirs." Or, "They haven't earned it yet." Or, "When they're the senior person with the corner office, they can decide who gets me time. But for now, just do the job." Okay, yes, Gen X put in its time, so did the baby boomers and the silent generation. But that defensive reaction doesn't help the situation. In fact, it causes a divide in business that creates friction and misunderstandings in the workplace. That in turn leads to lost productivity and contributes to a toxic work culture, which can damage your company's reputation, increase your business risk with employees who are not engaged or happy, and ultimately lead to costly, high employee turnover. Psychologically speaking, a defensive reaction is also the unconscious inner child lashing out. The unconscious is the part of the mind that has primal needs that were not met when we were kids, which is behind a lot of our reactions as adults. In pop psychology terms, it's called pushing our buttons. Even if you came from a home that looked like Norman Rockwell painting, you have pain points. We all have them. It's just part of being a human being. So when I sat with myself and thought about why my first reaction to my employee was bitter defensiveness, I realized that I was upset because I had never asked for me time. In 30 years of working 60 to 100 hours a week, on weekends, over the holidays, and during vacations, I do not recall ever seriously thinking that I could completely detach from work during any of it. So that's the start of Culture Shock: Surviving 5 Generations in One Workplace. As you can see, it's written in a very relatable manner, and you can apply it to business life and also to your home life and family. So I hope you enjoy the read, and thank you for listening.